Hello and welcome to another episode of Transcontinental Overload. I'm Stephanie, your host, and I'm a double expat. I was born in Germany and moved to the UK in my 20s and then to the US in my 30s with my husband and two children. And we've lived in California, Texas, and for the last 2.5 years in New Jersey, just outside of New York City. I really enjoy writing about being a global soul. And I absolutely love talking to other expats and nomads about their experiences of living in other countries. I feel like everybody has a story to tell, and today's guest is no exception. We're going to the Netherlands today. I'm talking to Rossella, an Italian from Sicily who has lived in Rotterdam on and off for the last 12 years. And she talks about her decision to leave her home country, about all the cultural differences between the Dutch and Italians, and about how her own experience has led her to found her business, Going Expat, a consulting agency for people wanting to move to the Netherlands. Of course, we talk about her business and her Instagram, and she talks about how Rotterdam became home for her and why she doesn't really miss Italy that much. Yeah, despite the weather. Well, enough said, let's hear Rossella's story. Welcome, Rossella, to Transcontinental Overload.
Hi, Stephanie.
It's always really exciting when I have a guest I don't really know much about or I haven't really contacted before, and because it's all like, oh, there's an exciting new story for me to come. So all I know about you is really that you are Italian by birth and worked and lived in Italy until you decided to move to Spain.
Yes.
And that kind of unleashed a whole new era for you, I guess, living and working abroad and all the experiences that brought. That must have just been oh, I like this. Let's try some more. So I would say, let's just jump right back to the beginning and you can talk about your beginnings and where you are now.
Cool, thank you. And yes, it's quite accurate. Also, the new era, the new me, I will say, because I was another person completely. So yeah, Spain was just an experience because I was in Italy, in Sicily, my little town, just doing my life, studying, regular stuff. And then I had this opportunity to move there. I already spoke the language, so it was comfortable. And it was just the curiosity or thinking about, okay, what is that there is there out of my comfort zone.
So did you work in the hotel industry in Italy?
Indeed.
And so that was your background?
Yeah. I mean, when I was in Sicily, I was studying and doing different kind of jobs, while supporting my studies in the sense. And then speaking the languages and having some experience with clients basically gave me the possibility to work in an hotel. And yeah, so I work in this reception of this hotel in Spain. It was easy, it was fun, it was nice, was very similar to my country anyway, because the culture,
where did you go? Where was this in Italy? In Spain, sorry.
Palma de Mallorca.
Okay. Oh, so, wow. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I come from an island. I was just going to a smaller island with a lot of similarities. It was fun. It was amazing. And I met so many people coming from everywhere, working there or just on holidays. And I start to listen to their stories. And I was like, my God, those people know so much. They have been so much around. And I didn't. So then it's probably that unleashed something in me, like, the curiosity. And I had to go somewhere else and see, okay, what else? What else can I find? What else can I discover about the world, but also about me? And that's how I arrived to the Netherlands, which was completely different world. I didn't know much about the country. But I was curious, and people that I met were living here, where I am now, and telling me some nice stories, talking about possibilities, talking about open-minded people, and I was like, why not? So I came, and that is about 12 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. And where was that in the Netherlands?
Rotterdam has always been Rotterdam, even
Okay.
though after a few years that I was here, I moved back to Italy to the north because I don't know, I wasn't prepared. So life here, it wasn't easy for me back then. I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about the country. I wasn't prepared from an economic point of view. I wasn't prepared professionally. There were too many things I didn't know, so I struggled a bit. And I was young. It was difficult. Those days, I didn't really have a plan. No, I liked to live here, and I was building my life and everything, but
Mhm.
I wasn't completely satisfied with the job that I was doing, with the money that I was earning. I was like, okay, well, there should be more. So I started to look for another job, and I got to have this interview with an international company, which of course also had an office in the Netherlands, but I didn't speak Dutch back then, so it was difficult for them to hire me here. So they gave me the offer to go to Milan, to the north of Italy, because there I could have done the job that they were looking for. And I was like, okay, well, let's go. It's such a big company,
Yeah.
and I might learn something. And again, it's a new experience. It's a new city. Yeah, okay, it's back to Italy. But back then,
But
I didn't have the awareness of
yeah.
I want to live abroad or I want to live
Mhm.
in my own country. It was all blur. Like let's see what life brings
Yeah.
to me.
But and also, I mean, Milan compared to Sicily, I mean, that's as different as you can get. And then at least for you, it probably
Yeah.
felt like, oh, I can at least I speak the language. It's a comfort zone as well.
It was a comfort zone in this sense, and I had the idea it's a big company, I speak the
Mhm.
language, I might have a career, I can grow, I can learn, and all these kind of things. Didn't happen exactly as I thought, but I learned anyway. And what I learned was that I actually was missing the Netherlands. I was missing what I was building here. I was missing
Mm.
the possibility to deal every day with so many challenges. Speaking a new language, because, okay, I was speaking English every day. And then suddenly I didn't speak English anymore. I was like, oof, oh my God, everything that I do is in one language.
Mm.
Should be
Yeah.
comfortable, but it wasn't for me. I was really missing the possibility to speak more languages during the day and to learn maybe another one. And the people around me, our backgrounds was similar. Maybe we were coming from different parts of Italy, but still we had the same experience. We share too much. And I don't know, I had this need to explore, even when I was talking to people, to explore more, to know more. And then after, yeah, it took me a while. It took me 4.5 years to decide to leave everything and move back to the Netherlands, which I did 5 years ago.
Wow. So how did you make that happen? Did you quit your job and start from scratch?
Exactly. I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
okay, I'm done. Like I had thought about it for so long. And yeah, 5 years ago, I was 33. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, you are an adult now. You should act like one.
But that's
But then
so
I was like,
brave.
I don't know about it. I mean, thank you. I'm not sure. But for me, it was like, okay, you also need to do what makes you happy. And I wasn't happy. On paper, I didn't miss anything. I had a
Yeah.
good job. I had good friends. I mean, I was living in a city that, compared to many others in Italy, was giving me
Yeah.
opportunities. But there was something missing. I wasn't happy. I wasn't home. So I said, or now or never, I'm 33. The more I wait, the more difficult it's going to be. So let's do that. And so I quit. Yeah, left my apartment, quit my job. I had friends here who were like super happy to support and helping me. So I stayed over to a friend of mine for a couple of months while, looking for a job and then find my apartment and so on and so forward. And then I was like, that's all I need. I have some money saved. I can manage. And that's
Well,
how it
I
was.
I still think it's immensely brave to just give up everything you know and just listen to your heart, follow your heart. And
Yeah.
But that, I mean, how did you go about finding a job at that point? Because so you're still in Italy. Did you travel back and forth? Did you just apply remote for things? Did you have an idea what you wanted to do?
No, I didn't apply remote because I knew, of course, a little bit about the market, and I knew that the best idea would have been to be already
Mhm.
here and ready. Plus, there was I had an accident with the scooter, so basically, I could not work for 4 months because I broke my a bone in my back. So I
Oh
was
my God.
wearing an orthopedic corset, and this happened 3 days before I was supposed to move to the Netherlands. So I was like, okay, what happening now? Now what's happening? What I'm supposed to do? I still want to pursue my dream, that is to go back there. So I spent 1 month at my parents' apartment, of course, back to Sicily, because I could not really do much on my own back then. But the moment I was a little bit better, I moved. Again, I was staying at my friend's house, so it was easier in a way. But I had to wait a couple of months before being physically able
Mhm.
to work again.
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, I was doing like private language lessons. I was teaching Italian online to
Mhm.
students, international students, because I could manage, a couple of hours per day. And my back was allowing me to stay sit for a couple of hours and was okay. So once I was finally back in a good health, I started to apply. So there are some elements that were not definitely not planned when
So,
I decided to move.
but that also could have derailed you. You could have seen that as a like, oh, it's not a good idea. It's not meant to be kind of thing. So it didn't stop you. That's amazing. You really knew that that's
Yeah,
what you wanted to
yeah.
do.
The thoughts, of course, passed my mind, and I was like, okay, maybe it's not meant to be.
Mhm.
But then I was like, okay, in any case, right now I don't have a job, and I don't have an apartment in Milan because I
Yeah,
quit and
you
I
could.
left.
Hmm.
So in any case, I had to start from scratch.
Hmm.
Better try to start from scratch where I want to be. So that was what
Yeah.
yeah, let me go and follow my initial plan anyway. So I need to start from scratch anyway. So let's try to do it in the
That's
place
good. That's a good
I feel home.
mindset. Yes, that's a very
Mm.
good mindset. It's yeah, because you had a full reset in a way.
Yes.
What did your parents say? I mean, I guess having a 33-year-old daughter move back home and say, "Hey, I quit my job and my apartment and I'm moving and I don't have anything really
Yeah.
tangible at the other end." How did they react?
Well, they were worried, of course, because they were like, okay, are you sure? I mean, how can you deal with everything? Are you sure you're gonna find a job? And then, of course, there was the accident. So they were like, oh, wait until you are really, good again, and then you go. But for me, waiting for was like impossible. And I explained it to them. I'm not sure if they understood that 100% what I was feeling at the time, but we already had the conversation about the reason why I wanted
Mhm.
to move back to the Netherlands.
Mhm.
And so the big part was already discussed that accepted.
Mhm.
And in a way, I guess they were aware of the fact that I was feeling home more in the Netherlands than in Milan. They knew I wasn't completely happy in Milan, and I
Mhm.
was old enough, yeah, to make choices for myself. And I
Yeah.
also knew my friends, so they knew I wasn't alone. This
Yeah.
really helped them to be calm.
Mhm.
Yeah, they trust me,
Yeah.
which is the only thing that I asked them to do. I understood the worries, but I asked them to trust me, and they
Mhm.
did. So yeah,
Good.
it worked
Love it.
out quite well. Yeah.
It's the parents we need, right? The to give us the roots
Yeah.
and the wings at the same time. And a lot of
Indeed,
trust. I
but my
love it.
parents have been very good in that, even though in the family I'm the only one, that has this idea and these dreams that are very
I
different
could
from the rest
relate.
of the family. So we're like,
there's always
why?
one. There's always these memes on social media. Every family has a daughter who is crazy, and I always
Yes.
think, oh, so
Or the
there have to
auntie
be some.
from
Yeah,
abroad, who goes
yeah,
for Christmas
yeah,
for
yeah,
Christmas dinner and drink a
yeah,
lot of wine. Yeah.
yeah. So what do you think at the time, like looking back, what made you just feel more at home in the Netherlands than in Italy? Because there must have been, I mean, probably a bunch of reasons, but what had you figured out at that time what that was?
Mm. I guess it was a little bit related with what I say earlier about being in an environment that is very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn more about yourself, of course. You learn about what is around. So you really open your mind. You really can, support your curiosity. You give a lot to your mind. And that was important for me. I live in a country and in a city where there are more than 100 different nationalities, where you go in the street and you hear so many languages. You see so many different people with clearly different background. Um, and that was the thing that maybe is weird, but the diversity, the variety made me feel home, because here I feel I can be whoever I want, and I don't have to go with the social idea that people have, like, oh, you are a woman of this age, that's what we are expecting from you. I feel that here is a little bit different. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. It does exist. But people are a little bit more free to be whoever they want than in Italy, at least for me. So that's what made me feel at home. I'm free.
And I can relate to that. And I think that's a lot of us feel that way about being somewhere else. It's almost like you feel you should fit into some sort of category in your home country, and when you don't feel like you actually belong in that, there's no it feels, at least that's how I always felt, there's no possibilities, even though probably there are, and I could have maybe worked at that and find it, but for me, the feeling different and then being somewhere else where it's okay to be different. So people
Yes,
are just
indeed.
used to that. And then you kind of, you're like, oh, I'm quite comfortable in that. So I don't need to fit in so much, because I can always say, oh, but I'm from another country. And then people are like, oh, okay, so that's why you don't fit in. It's like, that's right. And I kind of think that it appeals to a certain type of person, because I've heard this from a lot of people. And it's funny. So I said somewhere that I feel that in the US I can be whoever I want to be. People love the differences, and then another woman, an American woman who lives in Germany, so kind of the opposite, said the same thing about being in Germany. She's like, I feel totally free here. No one judges me. I can be whoever I want to be. And I'm like, what? So that's like, yeah, that it does make sense.
Yeah.
I think some people love it and some people don't. And
oh yes, I always say that what works, I mean, I guess everybody say the same, but what works for one person doesn't work for another. And I also think that it's brave to leave and it's also brave to stay. So there is no one better than another. It's like about what makes you feel yourself, like in peace with yourself, whatever it is. Fine. And I also know people who live in Italy or in Sicily from abroad, and they are like, okay, maybe this and that is not perfect, but for me, priorities are others. And for those things, I found the right place here, while my priorities were others, so I could not fit anymore where I grew up. And it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, the beauty of this obviously is that you you are in the European Union, so in terms of work and just travel and everything is fairly easy, because you can just, because of your Italian passport, you can do that. You can move to the Netherlands and work and live there and buy a house and do all these things without too many bureaucratic difficulties.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
I mean, that's not the case for everyone.
Definitely, yeah. And I guess for you, also for you moved to US, so also there you had to deal with the visa and permissions and this and that, and the health system, etc. is a little bit of craziness. And
although
being
I guess
in
that's,
Europe, it's easier in this sense.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess also that, I mean, even though it is the EU, there are still many differences, and so that can't have been easy to deal with. So talk us through some of the the early days of being there. I mean, obviously this was your second time. You're like, so you were familiar with a lot of things, but still.
Yeah. Oh, there are still things that I'm struggle with, and I'm like, why these things work this way? And some are important, like the health system, for example, and some are a little bit more, let's say funny. Like, for example, what time they have lunch and dinner for me is crazy. But are the small struggle of an everyday life, right? Because then you live in the country. So it's not even about the big thing and the big differences, but it's more about the small ones that make your everyday life. So the big culture shock for me was definitely the health system. I come from a country where the health system is free. Better is public. There is a super small fee that you had to pay out of your payroll every month, and basically that's it. You go to the first aid if you have issues, and you have the possibility to talk to specialists all the time. So on paper, it's perfect. And then I arrived in the Netherlands, where I need to talk to my GP every time, and my GP is going to give me paracetamol for anything. It's going to ask me, why do you want to do this check? You are okay. And you talk about prevention, and they look at you like, yeah, but you are okay. Like, no, I am okay, and I want to keep it this way. So that's why I want to have a check. And they really don't work the way, don't think the way. It's difficult. Plus, for all this bunch of no that you get, including from the hospital, if you call in night, you say, oh my God, I feel super bad. I want to come to the hospital because I want you to, check on me. And basically, if you are not almost dead, they are not going to accept you. And on top of that, you pay average €150 per month for the health insurance. And I was like, what I'm paying for? And this still made me struggle. I mean, the health system is the thing I cannot get used to. It's, and it's going to be like that forever, I believe. But I accepted it. I pay, I had no other choice. But doesn't mean that I like or I fully understand the fit with that. I don't.
Like you said, no place is perfect.
No.
And I mean, the health systems, I mean, we could probably fill 2 episodes talking about health systems, and I'm not even going to start talking about the American one, because
no.
because 150 sounds totally fine.
I know, but this is also the fun part, right? Because when you talk to people, and then depending where they are from, some people are like, oh yes, I mean, I completely get it. It's crazy to sell like, blah, 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 because in our countries it's the same. And then you get the American people that say like, oh, well, the health system here is great. You're like, where are you from again? Oh, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I know people, a lot of like German friends, for example, who live here in the US, who literally plan their annual trips to Germany around their like doctor's appointments, and they will go back and see all they do everything like in 2 weeks. they do everything. But obviously that's not always possible, because you have to be registered and you have to well, you know,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
there's all
Yeah.
these, and I'm sure there's loopholes, but yeah. So it's one of those things that you have to get used to when you live somewhere. You just have to, that's what it is.
Yeah.
What other culture shocks can you
Yes, as
talk
I
about?
say, for example, for me, it's still super weird, and I keep on forgetting that when I finish work, also basically everybody except for supermarket finish working. So if I want to go shopping after work, I can't. I just had to wait for the weekend in my case because I don't work in weekends, or I had to wait for the only day in the week where they stay open a little bit longer. So around 5, 6, basically yeah, shops closed. And again, for me, it's like, oh, they are not open until 8:30 in the evening, which is connected
Mhm.
to at what time they have lunch, dinner. Lunch is at 12, dinner starts from 6. In
Mhm.
winter, sometimes even 5:30. Impossible. I mean, I'm Italian from the south. For me, dinner time is at 9, 8 when I'm really super hungry because or tired because I had a very full, busy day. But
Yeah.
so it's a small culture shock,
Mm.
but it's something you have to get used to because around that, also your social life is gonna be built when you meet your friend outside, when you invite him over for a drink or for dinner. Yeah, so I'm in a mixed relationship, and my partner is Dutch, so I had to deal with his way to do stuff every day. We need to find a balance between 9 o'clock and 6, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and do you? Or do you just kind of spend some time going his way and sometimes going your way?
Yeah, we did it for a long time.
Mm.
Now we kind of found, yeah, a balance. And sometimes when I really don't want to eat too early, I give him an aperitif. So I introduce him to the world of the aperitif, like, oh, just eat something now and then we have dinner later.
That's perfect.
Not super healthy, I would say, but
I think depending on how big the aperitif is, you can get another hour out of him. I love that.
Yeah. But
Uh,
yeah, let's say that normally, generally speaking, around 7:30, we are
mhm.
preparing for dinner. So it's not that early, and it's not that late for him. So we kind of balance now with that. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, there's so many things I guess that you had to get used to, him and you.
Definitely. I mean, we can really go deep in so many things in the relationship, but generally speaking, with the Dutch culture,
Mhm.
there can be small shocks, and you have to get used to, or you, depending on the relationship you have with the people involved,
Mhm.
you need them also to
Of
come a little
course.
bit your way, right? So the way you speak, the way you speak your mind, express your feelings. And why they do that. And there, let me say that knowing the local language helps a lot in
Mhm.
understanding that Dutch people are not rude, but are direct.
Mhm. For anywhere, I think speaking the language at least a little bit helps so much
Mhm.
with just understanding the whole culture. It always feels like everyone speaks English, and I know the Dutch speak excellent English on the whole, but there is something about just for anyone being able to express themselves in their own language is huge.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, so many things make sense when you do know the language.
Yeah, yeah,
What
a little
so
bit because you get that, like, oh, you also understand they are translating as well. I mean,
yeah.
we are translating from our languages, and we say all the right words,
Yeah.
but the way we put this word in a sentence are coming from our way to speak, our culture.
Yeah.
And they do the same. It doesn't matter the fact that it's in this country and in a city like Rotterdam, the level of English is super high.
Hmm. Hmm.
They are still translating from their culture and from their
Yep.
language. So if you get that, your work completely change. And your culture shock goes
Mhm.
down a lot. It helps a
Yeah.
lot. So yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest difference in communicating? Dutch style
Well,
versus Italian style?
well, for example, they make very short sentences. I mean, they are not gonna go there for 3 minutes talking about the same exact thing. You ask a question, they answer with one sentence. That's it. We go around and around, and then we had to explain the why we are answering this way, and we probably go back in the time when this something similar happened to me or to my mother or to my nephew or to my friend. That's the main difference. They give you the answer. That's it. We go around a lot.
So how do they react to your way of speaking? And I guess you have adapted probably somewhat to their style, but you're shaking your head. You're like, no,
not much. I mean, I keep on talking a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess for them it's like, do they get impatient with you, or do they love it, or both?
No, okay. I had to say that being Italian, it's a good thing because they love Italians in general, the accent, the way we go around, we think, we move our hands. So I guess at a certain point, when they get to what you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
they probably stop listening, but just look at the picture in general and having fun. But sometimes when you are in a very close relationship with people, since they are very direct, they tell you, okay, Rossella, got it. Enough.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I guess that's an advantage of that being Italian, because I think generally people love, like you said, they love all the expressiveness in the hands, and so you can almost play into that and build on that. It's so funny. I always think it's amazing what people or different countries, what they have a cliche in their mind, and then they love that, and it's and they sometimes see different things that you don't see yourself, but they, and you like, you might think I'm not really talking with my hands that much, but for them it's like it's the whole package. I love all that. As much as I try not to go too much into cliches, and kind of it's boring if you do that all the time, but it's also fun. And
I think that cliche or stereotypes, they all started with the base of truth, right? Then the exaggeration of the cliche, that's not good. But giving a little bit of the stereotypes and having an idea of what normally people from that country or that culture do, with a good heart, there is nothing wrong with that. It's kind of fun. It's just the exaggeration or the tag. Oh, they are loud because they are Italian, or they are Italian, so they are loud. Okay, that's it. Let's put that in a contest, and then let's see, because it doesn't work for everything. But yeah, just the basic or the stereotype is just fun, and that's okay.
yeah. And again, that helps your sense of, I can be different here. I can be who I want to be, and you don't have to. You don't have to fit into any category.
And also in that, okay, people expect from me to be very talkative, and giving long answer and explaining blah, blah, blah. But if I don't feel to, and I just give a very short and clear answer, and that's it, because for any reason I don't feel to go and be so Italian that day, they are fine with that. Nobody's gonna questioning.
Yeah.
Oh, fine, good. I mean, they don't even probably notice much, because for them it's normal to have a little bit of more short and direct answers. It's like, okay, well, I go where I need.
Yeah, I see how that's why you like that freedom. So what would you say is your favorite thing about the Dutch and living where you live?
Yeah. It goes back to a little bit to the freedom, to the do whatever you want, don't care too much. I mean, of course, there are rules, there is respect of a lot of stuff, but there is a lot of freedom of mind, it's all fine. They can ask you the why of something, and they're gonna be okay with the with the answer that you give without questioning it too much. And maybe I go again to a very, well, maybe heavy or important topic, but one of the things that I always give as an example when I mean, this kind of conversation is about being a woman in my late 30s now, and I don't have kids. And people maybe ask, like, oh, but you don't want to have kids, or when is gonna happen? And I answer this question in Italy saying, I don't want kids. And then on the other side is like, why? You're gonna change your mind. Are you sure what you are talking about? You are missing out a lot, and all the discussion and questions about that. You are here, they ask you maybe the question, you answer, I don't want kids. Oh, fine. Next topic. But maybe they don't agree and they think like, oh my God, you stupid woman, you don't know what you're missing. Maybe they are thinking that, but they are not gonna question you forever about that. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, it's her business. She does what she wants.
So you feel like in general they're less judgmental. And
yeah. In general, yes. At least my niche. But definitely.
And what would you say is your least favorite thing?
Oh, my least favorite thing. Okay, it's probably what people call coldness, like, oh yeah, people from, that's a general thing, from southern people to northern people. People in the north are cold. I guess that they have more difficulties in speaking about their feelings. So it's a little bit difficult in general, for people to speak about their feeling. They don't really speak about their feeling. They need to be in a situation where you are there for that. While, maybe me as a person, I freely speak about my feeling all the time. I had no problem with that, maybe even too much. No, I don't know. My experience gives me that idea that they don't speak freely about their feelings, which makes relationship a little bit complicated sometimes. So yeah,
more reserved.
They are more reserved, yeah.
Is that what you miss about Italy and being
a little bit? Yeah, that's something that I in some moment I miss, because this empathy that I can have with people that are Italian, or maybe with a different culture that is more, let's call it warm. Here sometimes is missing. So it's like, not every time. I have very good and empathetic friends that are Dutch, but it's a little bit less, if I had to count on an average. Or their way to do is quite different. To do that is quite different. It's more like, oh, if you need me, I'm here. And then you really need to call. They are not coming back to you to like, hey, we talked 2 days ago, you weren't great. How are you today? No, I told you, you can call me if you need me. And then they expect you to call and say like, hey, I need you, can we call? And they are there, but you had to be the one to call, so.
That's a huge, I never really thought about it in terms of cultural differences, because I feel like that happens with my German friends and family too. It's like it's more it's almost like well, you didn't call. Why didn't you call? You were feeling bad. Why didn't you call me? And I'm like, whoa.
Yes.
I'm not. I needed you. I didn't. Don't shout at me.
Yes.
Yeah,
this part, like, it's a little bit weird, like, and I don't know if it's related about how they deal with their own feelings, or it's just like a different idea and approach to empathy in general. So.
What's the thing that surprised you the most about the Dutch? That's something that you really did not expect.
One thing that really surprised me, for example, is the nice relationship you can have with your neighbors, which was something that I missed a lot in Milan, that I had no idea who my neighbors were, like literally no idea. here is very nice, and I'm like in the building where I live, I'm the only one from abroad. They are all Dutch. And I mean, it's not that we are friends or that we do things together, but there is always this connection. You meet them in on the stairs, and you talk about the day, about anything. We have dogs, so we talk about the dogs, anything that can happen. And there is always this 5 minutes while you are coming back home or you are leaving, and when you meet your neighbors, that you really talk to them about whatever, but you really do. And of course, during COVID, there was also much support. Like, I'm going for grocery, maybe you know that you have the neighbor who is a little bit old. Do you need anything? Can I help? Or I didn't expect that because of the stereotype that Northern people are cold. So I was like, well, if I didn't have anyone around me, basically when I was living in Milan, imagine how it's gonna be here.
Yeah.
Not at all. Neighborhood is a big thing.
Nice.
Yes.
And what do you feel like you miss the most from Italy? And maybe that tails in with my, I always ask this everyone. It's when you're homesick or when you miss your home country and you want a connection, what is it that you miss? And is there anything that you do?
It is very difficult for me to answer this question because the only, let's say, thing that I really miss is my family. Okay, some days it's raining too much and I miss the sun. Some days I'm like, oh, I would like to go and swim in the Mediterranean. Yes, but do I really miss them to the point that I'm homesick? Actually, no, I don't. And of course, like food sometimes, but we live now in such an international world where you can find all these things anyway. I mean, I can find other Italians. I have Italian friends, and we can have our Sunday lunch together with lasagna and the typical thing that we were used to do at home. So really missing is only my family. All the rest, not much. I'm home here, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And but you have some Italian friends as well where you live?
Yes, I do have.
Yeah, because
it's important.
Also, yes, it is, isn't it? Because I've found that I never thought at the beginning that I needed German friends. It was almost like when people said, "Oh, I have a German friend you need to meet," I was like, "Oh, I'm not sure." And as time went on, I now have some really, really good German friends.
Yeah.
And realize how important it is sometimes to just relax into that almost. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely a level of comfort that maybe it's just the common experience that
because it's exactly the same. Other expats share a lot of similarities with you, but where you are from makes it also different, right? So I guess that's why it's also important. Sometimes you don't need to speak. You just say like, well, you know how it is back home, right? And that's it. And then the other person understands it. But yeah, I don't look specifically for Italian friends. I mean, I never did. It's important to have. I'm happy I have. But I keep also everything more international, and my Italian friends have the same way to deal with that too. Are not like the Italians who close them in a circle of Italians and Italianity, because then you miss a lot of your experience abroad. So it's just like we are Italian in a bunch of people from all different countries, and then like we kind of pick what we like of the others and blend together with ours, and then there is a third culture coming up.
Yeah,
something like that.
Let's talk a little bit about your business and what you've built, because I don't really know anything about that and what made you.
Yeah.
do that?
Well, my business is it's a small business. It's called Going Expat, and basically started because of all we have talked about until now: culture shock, feeling of belonging, understanding how things works. Okay, there are some cliche, but like be careful how to deal with that and what this cliche put in your mind. It started as usual, I guess, nowadays with a blog during COVID because we were all bored. And then it became something else because people were curious and because people were looking for help and support, because people wanted to know if it was that easy or wasn't. Brexit arrived and also helped a lot to create more interest in the Netherlands, since it's one of the few a country where you can come, live, and work without speaking the local language, generally speaking. So, of course, Brexit makes everything more complicated for European people to go there. So then, okay, what else otherwise? So Netherlands just pop up.
So popular with students, right? And people
Also.
are finishing school and then looking to go into more international field. Yeah, I know so many
Same
people.
thing, because you can study in English. You don't need to speak the local language. You need to have a good level of English, certified too, sorry. But yeah, you can study, for example, at the Erasmus University with just English. You don't need Dutch. So that also help in the sense. And there were also some advantages on the taxation for expats. So a lot of things. So people start to ask and ask and ask and ask. And I was like, okay, I don't know everything. So I was spending a lot of time looking for an answer and try to find connection with people, companies, agencies that can really give me the right answer and not just, oh, might be this what you were looking for. So then I was like, okay, it's a lot of time, but there is also a lot of need. So let me see if I can build something around that. So there is a lot of free content on the social medias. And then if people need customized consultant calls, if they need help with some specific things, that is, I mean, I request a fee for that, of course. So it became a small business. Of course, I opened my VAT ID, so everything is within the law, which is super easy in the Netherlands. And I'm helping people, which is the best thing that could happen to me in this sense. To don't make mistakes or moving here with some awareness, and avoid to feel alone also, or lost completely.
What would you say is your biggest success in your business? Do you have a case where you feel like I really made a difference in that person's life?
Yeah, I'm very happy actually with this family. They are three, so mother, father, and the kid. And the kid has some disability too. So they were really looking for somebody that could help them understand how everything works, specifically for the kid and the problem that the kid has. But at the same time, also, like, they are super young, so they are like, we want to live the dream. We had this big responsibility of having a kid and also with some disabilities. At the same time, we are not even 30, so we want to build a life, our life, do something that is good also for us, not only for our baby, etc., etc. And they trust me with that, and having the possibility to help them. They are moving in September.
Where are they moving from?
Yeah, from Italy. Yeah.
From Italy. Okay.
50% of my clients are from Italy, and the rest is a little bit spread around, mainly Europe, some also from other countries, but which makes sense, I would say, because of the language. Anyway, so they are coming, and they like are happy. They were a little bit worried, and people were like, oh, but life is so expensive, but the health system is terrible, but this, but that. So they were like, okay, maybe it's not the right place. Even though they have been here for holidays, so they love it. They were very confused. They didn't know what to do first. But then, yeah, we did all the calls. I went through their details. I connect them with the right people for everything related to the health system for the kid. And they find out that actually there are possibilities for them. And they just had to do one step at a time. And they decide to move at the end. They are super excited. And they were also grateful, and I'm grateful that they chose me. So I guess this is, until now, is
Nice.
the best story I can tell.
I feel like it really sounds like you followed your heart and your gut, and you were in the right place at the right time.
I probably was, yeah.
It's just the way you're telling your story. It just feels that it all kind of grew very organically. And what do you think was your biggest difficulty all along that whole journey, looking back?
Well, I mean, of course, I mean, the most difficult part when you want to start a new business, and also when you want to help people, is being taken seriously by clients, and also, like partners, possible for possible collaborations. Because like internet, Instagram is so full of people. I give you a lot of tips and you're gonna have the best experience of your life, and then they don't know what they are talking about because they live in the country for 6 months and they are talking about their experience. That's it. So it still is sometimes difficult to make people understand I'm not basing what I say only on my experience, basically not on my experience, but on a lot of studying and talking with the right people, with the right agency, etc., etc. And the most difficult part is also to say no sometimes. Say to people, I cannot help you, and be honest in this sense. Knowing how important is your impact if you give the wrong advice or if you don't know.
So we haven't really spoken much about your intercultural relationship, but what would you say was the biggest kind of culture shock there? Because I imagine in terms of whether it's dating or relationships, there are big differences in culture. What would you say?
Well, let me tell you a fun story. Yeah, let me tell you a fun story. It was like, also to make it a little bit light, So second date with my partner. We go out and we had some drinks before going for dinner. I believe it was that, or to the cinema. I don't remember. But okay, before doing the main activity that we were supposed to do, we go for a drink. And then there is the moment we need to leave. And I say, oh, that's on me. And he's like, okay, and put his wallet in the pocket. And I look at him and was like, that's it? Like, what do you mean? You say you pay, fine. I'm like, oh, what? It shouldn't work like that, because I mean, I am used to this kind of fine. Oh, no, I pay. Oh, no, let it. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And at the beginning, the man want to pay all the time because he has to show off. I didn't know that with a Dutch guy, if I say I pay, doesn't matter it's a date. Then I pay. So if you say you want to pay, you pay. You don't say you want to pay if you don't want to pay. Yeah, so I was like, okay, that's a new beginning.
Well, it didn't scare you off, I guess.
No, it didn't. And this works for everything in the relationship, You need to be very, very aware of what you are saying, because at least for my experience, it takes my words seriously, So I'm used to the Italian drama. I say words that I don't mean and cry and scream to then say, I didn't mean that, amore, I love you, But it doesn't work like that. If I scream, it doesn't scream more. It waits for me to be done, which makes me more angry, of course, because like, you don't have anything to say? I cannot talk to you. You are screaming. Is it? So yeah, you need to be very aware of what you say and how you say it, because this is what they are gonna take and believe. So
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah. But need to get used to that.
Yeah, but that's what makes relationships fun as well. I think it's just those little daily culture shocks.
Indeed. Is your husband German too, or from
No,
another
he's
country?
English. He's English.
Oh, okay. So
but
yeah,
which
well,
is
then you
kind of,
understand.
yeah, exactly, because I had to get used to him saying something and me like, what, is he serious? And he's not, because he's just, they always say the opposite of what they mean. So it's kind of, that's even worse than drama, There's no drama. It's just like a very dry answer, and you're like, oh, is that
God,
real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got used to it.
Well, yeah, hopefully,
I still can't always tell, though. He still gets me sometimes, and I'm like,
well, you never get bored.
No, that's the thing. You never get bored, and there's always new things to discover. And also, I feel like with being in a relationship with someone from that culture or another culture, it's like opening a box to the psyche of that country, because sometimes so many things make sense, and you would never understand unless you were really closely connected with that.
Indeed.
So
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I asked your partner now, what would he say is the most Dutch thing about you?
The most Dutch thing about me, oh my God, that I go biking everywhere. I mean, I really use my bike to go everywhere, and I also bought this kind of, how do you call them in English? Rain jackets or something like that.
Yeah, like a cagoule thing with a hood, and so
that
goes
like
over your
pants. I get the jackets, everything. So if it's raining, I'm covered, and even if I am my fancy dress underneath, it's perfect. Nice. And yeah, I guess this is the most Dutch thing that I do. Cycling around, and yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been a really fun conversation, Rossella. And
thank you, Stephanie. It was very
wish
nice.
you all the luck and success with your business. And I will definitely put links in the show notes and things like that, so people can get in touch if they listen to it and maybe know someone who's planning to move to the Netherlands to connect with you.
Why not? Thank you so much. It was very nice and fun to talk to you. And good luck with your podcast. It's very nice. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, that was my conversation with Rossella. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Certainly interesting to find out all about a country that I'm not that familiar with. I've been to Amsterdam a couple of times, but I don't really know that much about the Netherlands. So that was really fun. If you want to find out more about Rossella, follow her on Instagram, Rossella Going Expat, or check out her website, goingexpat.com. I've put all the links in the show notes. If you've enjoyed this episode and you're a fan of this podcast, then please let me know. I would really appreciate it if you could give me a 5-star review. This really helps people find it. Spread the word. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast or know someone who would be someone I could talk to, then please let me know. Get in touch and we can set something up. I'm always happy to hear other stories. I am currently actively looking for guests for my destination special. I would love to virtually travel to other destinations, and I'm sure a lot of you would like that too. So if you live in a place that it may be a tourist destination, but you want to show us a different side of that place, or maybe you live in a place that's not so well known and you just want to introduce us to it, please get in touch. I would love to hear all about where you live. And that is it for today. Stay happy and healthy, and I'll see you next time.